Hello there, kindergartners. Today we are going to be working on a new project. And so the first thing you are going to need for this new project is a colored piece of paper. We are going to be making a pair of mittens. So that means 2 mittens. So if you have not chosen your colored piece of paper, you need to choose that very first thing. Now, to make our mittens, we are going to take our piece of paper and we are going to put it in front of us the long way across, the long way from left to right. Okay, and then we are going to take the left side of your paper, so like I'm holding mine, and you're going to take it and line it up. Do you see how I just picked that up? Line it up with the right side as best as you can, doesn't have to be perfect. And then fold it. So it's kind of going to look like a storybook, like this. Okay, before we move on, let's double check and make sure everybody has their paper looking like this. Okay, and now that we are ready for this next step, we're actually going to make our mittens now, and how we're going to do that is by using our hand as a stencil. So that means we're going to be tracing our hand. Now I want to show you the difference though between a glove and a mitten. Okay, some of you might already know this, but a glove, everybody take your hand like this, spread your fingers apart. A glove is like this. So when you wear a glove, there is fabric that goes on every finger. Okay, so your hands are like this with a glove. With a mitten, everybody do this with your hand. This is what a mitten looks like, because the mitten just has the thumb, and then the rest of your hand is in the rest of the mitten, the rest of your fingers. So when we trace our hand, it needs to be like this so that it looks like a mitten. Okay, so how we're gonna do this is we're gonna set our hand on our piece of paper, and notice how my arm isn't way up here, because I don't want my arm in it, I just want my hand. So the bottom part of my hand down here, I'm going to put on the edge of that piece of paper. And then using a pencil, I am going to trace around my hand. So I don't have to go exactly next to everything. Look, I'm not going in between any of my fingers. I'm going around them, down, around my thumb, and down to the bottom. And this is what it should look like. Now, once you have that finished, excuse me, we are going to cut this out. But here's the trick. There's 2 pieces of paper here. Did you know that? Because since you folded your paper, you have a paper here and you have a paper underneath. So we're gonna keep this closed. I'm gonna use my grown-up scissors because I have grown-up sized hands, and I'm gonna cut this out, leaving my paper folded. So if I'm leaving my paper folded, how many pieces of paper am I cutting through right now? If you said 2, you're right. Since I left my paper folded, I am cutting through 2 pieces of paper right now. Okay, I can set my scraps to the side, and those eventually should go into the recycling. And then look, it's like magic. I have 2 mittens. So this is what you should end up with after that step. Now, moving on to the next step, here's what our mittens need to look like. You need to move your mittens around so that the thumbs are facing each other. Okay, the thumbs should be facing each other. And there's a very special reason why. It's because these are going to be a very special pair of mittens because they are going to have what's called symmetry. Symmetry is when something is the same on each side. So today we are going to be using some crayons to make our mittens have symmetry or be the same on each side. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example first, and then you'll be able to work on your own mittens. Okay, so if I get started here, I'm just gonna choose a random color crayon that I like, and I'm going to start on my thumbs here, okay? Because that's kind of really easy for us to see. So let's say I just wanted to start with a heart, and maybe I want to color it in. Okay, remember I said I want my mittens to have symmetry. So symmetry meaning that it's the same thing on each side. If I put a heart here, where should my next heart go? We want it to go right here. If that's what you said, you're right. If I put a heart on one thumb, that means I have to put that same heart on the other thumb. Okay, now using this color again, I'll do something else here. Maybe I just want to have a line that goes right down here. See that right there? Now, if I want my mittens to have symmetry, where should my next line go? If you said the same spot on the other mitten, you're right. Okay, and there we have it so far. Now my next design I'm going to make what's called a pattern. And a pattern is just something that repeats itself. So it could be triangle, square, circle, star, okay? So let's say I want to do some circles. So maybe with this color, I'm going to do circle. Well, that's more of an oval. We'll say that's an oval. Oval, 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 right there. And I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to do the same thing on the other side. In the same spot. I'm going to do my best to try and keep it in the same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these open spaces, I'm going to choose a different color for that. And I'm going to do a dot. So I have 1, 2, 3. Has to be the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And if I were to keep going, this might take me a while. So I'm going to stop here because I already have a pair of mittens that's finished that I can show you. This is what you might have when you're finished. You should have a matching pair of mittens. So that means using your crayons, you're going to add some designs and shapes and patterns so that they are the same on both sides.